launching a bill in the Capitol that could change the way you get around the state, focusing on possibly bringing back tolls to the state for the first time in decades.
It's cleared its first hurdle yesterday when the General Assembly's Transportation Committee voted on it. Now News 8's Ken Pierce is live in West Haven, where years ago you had to pass through a toll right there on the highway. Kent, there were some very strict rules attached to the bill yesterday. Tell us about it.
Exactly, Allie and Jim. I want to be clear for everybody. This is the first of many steps that would have to happen in order for tolls to return to Connecticut's highway. So there's a lot still left to do, but this is a pretty major step. And yes, it was years ago, but people who've been around Connecticut may remember that right here in West Haven along I-95, there used to be a toll plaza. You had to stop, hand over money to go through the tolls. Well, that's not going to happen again. If anything, tolls would look very differently if they were to come back to Connecticut. For one thing, the tolls are only going to be on the borders of Connecticut, not here in the middle of the state. For another thing, the days of stopping and paying tolls, well, they're just about over. The tolls today would be paid electronically, and you would barely slow down as you went through a toll plaza. Legislators in the Transportation Committee who voted yes for tolls yesterday want something else to be clear, too. Remember how the money for the gasoline tax was supposed to be used only on transportation-related projects? But then the state started taking that money and using it for anything it wanted. If we do end up with tolls, folks at the Capitol want to make sure the toll money goes right back into roads.
We put in this bill, it was a lockbox mechanism that any revenues that we collect from electronic tolling or congestive pricing would have to go into this lockbox and use specifically for our infrastructure and bridges.
You may be hearing that word lockbox a lot in future discussions about the tolls. And to be clear, what happened yesterday is the Transportation Committee voted for a bill. That bill still has to go through the rest of the legislature, and this bill only tells the Transportation Commissioner to develop a program for tolls, not to actually implement the tolls themselves. Hartford thinks the best way to do this and get it passed, if we do have tolls, they're going to be on the outside of Connecticut, on the borders. The idea there is it becomes an inside-out issue. That's how they call it. The folks in the inside of Connecticut are not going to mind all that much. It's the folks on the outer parts of Connecticut that are going to object because they're the ones more likely to have to deal with the tolls. We're live in West Haven along I-95 this morning. I'm Ken Pierce. Back to you.